Hi everyone, it's V again. Okay, we're going to talk about what's going on in the news. Okay, time for another video. So let's get started. Okay, let's talk about the shooting that happened, one of the shootings, the one that happened in Colorado. Okay, what's the first thing the news did? They said, hey everybody, a white man shot a bunch of people. That's the first thing CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and all of the fake news did. That's the first thing they focused on. They didn't focus on the fact that an officer, a heroic officer, gave his life to save people. They didn't focus on the fact that 10 families are hurting because of someone's stupid actions. They focused on the fact that they saw what they thought a white person being taken away by the police. But it turned out that the facts came out and it was actually an Islamic person who was actually someone who believed the radical left's point of view and couldn't stand Trump and wanted to just hated Trump and hated people that thought like Trump. And then all of a sudden the news changed and the people like Kamala Harris's niece who tweeted that it was a white person that did it, or other people that were in the uh, public eye that tweeted about white people, they all changed their tweets and said, well, it was something along the lines of, it was still white people. White people do bad things, but they had to change their tweets or change their sayings. The news changed theirs and they said, well, it was still something that was bad. It was bad, but it's all guns' fault now. It's the guns' fault. But they didn't bring up anything about the fact that they were wrong. All of a sudden, it wasn't anything to do racial anymore. It was the guns' fault. So then Biden has to go and say, oh, we need to take guns away from people. Guns are bad. Let's take guns away. Let's stop everybody. Let's stop our people from having guns. Let's take away the Second Amendment rights. And then you got The View, you got Joy Behar. Oh, well, we just need to take away guns from people. It's just bad. Let's do that. Well, Joy, I hate to say this, but we all don't have guards like you do. So if that's true, let's take away your security guards and their guns, okay? And then if someone breaks in your home or comes up on you in the street and you don't have your guards with their guns, what are you going to do? Then you wouldn't feel so safe, would you? So if someone's breaking into my home and they're going to hurt my family, they're going to meet Mr. Pistol. Sorry, I have a right. It's only good. And I hate to say this, President Biden and all you senators and Congress and Democrats, you must not be using your brain. Do you really seriously think that the law-abiding citizens that are doing it right and going and getting their guns for protection, or the ones that are out hunting to feed their families deer or turkey or pigeon or whatever they shoot? I don't like hunting, but that's their thing. They want to do it. That's fine. But do you really think they're the ones out shooting people up? No, I don't think so. But do you seriously think if you try to take their guns, that they're the bad ones? But if you pass some stupid law that's going to try to fight people, law-abiding citizens, do you really think criminals aren't going to get guns? I mean, come on. Use your head. You are just wanting to take away rights is all you're wanting to do. That's all you're wanting to do. And the fake news, get with it. Why change your narratives now? Why don't you really report the news? Why don't you report the news as it is? I'm getting so sick and tired of this. You guys are feeding into this and stuff. It's amazing. And I want to point out something to you, and I'm going to read this because I looked it up because I was really curious about this, because the left and the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi and Biden and all of them and all the people that they've appointed in their positions, they're trying to divide the world on race. They're trying to make all races hate each other because that's what they want. They want this civil war thing is what it seems like. So I looked up where the word racism came up, because it's almost like they're trying to take and use it and stuff. And I hate to say this, but it's like they're trying to use it as a black and white thing. But I got a surprise for everybody because when I looked it up, I was really shocked myself. The Oxford English Dictionary's first recorded utterance of the word racism was by a man named Richard Henry Pratt in 1902. And he was rallying against the evils of racial segregation. Actually, the word racism started, it said, because he didn't want racism. Segregating any class or race of people apart from the rest of the people kills the progress of the segregated people or makes their growth very slow. Association of races and classes is necessary to destroy racism and classism. But it goes even further than that. He actually was kind of like you guys that are in the Democrats now. I read a little further and did a little more research on him. And guess what? He was a progressive. Like you Democrats are saying you're progressive? Guess what? He was too. And he had actually an ulterior motive, kind of like you guys do. He was progressive, but it wasn't against the black people. It was against the Indians, the first people here that the white people came against. And what he did was he conned the Indians into saying, hey, let me teach your kids, just like you're trying to say, let me teach your kids different. Sounds a little bit like what you're trying to do. So he took all the Indians and he said, he even went so far as to say, I'm going to withhold food, or I'm going to withhold this, kind of like you're doing. Put your mask on, stay locked down, or I'm going to withhold everything from you. No more work, no more this and that. That's progressive, kind of like Mr. Pratt was. Kind of like what's going on now. That's progressive. He was too. So he told the Indians, if you want to get further along in life, let me have your children. Kind of like you're telling the immigrants, let me have your children, and I'll teach them. It'll be better. And stuff. So what he did was he set up a camp, and he took all the Indians' children, told them he was going to do better by them. But some of the children went through bad punishment. Some were killed. Some were molested. And he took away their native language and taught them the English language, because he said that was better for them. It was better to change what they already knew, change their history, take away what they knew, change the history they knew, and conform them to what he wanted them to learn. That's what Biden and the Democrats are trying to do to our children now. It's progressive. It's what we need to do, they think. And that was the start of racism with the Indians. Pratt with the Indians. And that was actually in 1880. That was the first start of racism. And it was against the Indians, taking their kids, taking away their real history, changing it, making something completely different. And Biden and Pelosi and all their cabinet, they're saying they're progressive. And we need to change some of the history. Let's knock down these statues. Let's change history. Just some of the history is bad. Let's not teach that anymore. Let's teach them this new stuff, this CRT. Let's teach them all this new stuff. That's not the way the history should be. I don't agree. We came from history, and it wasn't always pretty. That wasn't pretty, what I just told you. But our kids have to know our history to become better. And what you're doing is wrong. And you call us a racist country. You want to pinpoint, say anybody that voted a certain way or anybody that believes a certain way is racist. Then why are you bringing in thousands of immigrants and making our world, our American, worse if we're racist? Why are you bringing in people of different races to a country that you say we're going to treat bad? You say we're going to treat them bad. That makes no sense at all. You're not making any sense, Biden, or whoever's really running the country, because we know it's not him. You guys are making no sense at all. You guys are not complete. And anybody that's watching this, I'm not an extremist. I'm not anything. I'm not associated with any party. I vote according to my morals. And that's another thing. They're arguing in the meetings about, you can't say my prayers and thoughts are with you. Hello, I hate to tell you this, but prayers and thoughts are what got me through cancer. Prayers and thoughts to God in heaven is what healed me. Yes, the doctors did their work, but those were doctors, they were Christian doctors who had faith in God just like I did. And they knew where my true health came, my healing came from. By his stripes, I was healed. So if I say, when I have a loss, when I lost my grandma and people said to me, my prayers, their prayers and thoughts were with me, that meant the world to me. So you don't have to believe it, but don't take it away from those of us that do. So you can say what you want to say, and you believe what you want to believe, but don't step on my rights. Don't tread on my rights and my thoughts and my feelings. Because those were given to me by the founding fathers. And they were given to everybody else to believe what they want to believe, and you believe what you want to believe. My freedom of speech, my gun rights, and my belief in God. Those are the rights that were given to us. And I just think that the people need to wake up. We're getting ready to go through a big battle, and they're trying to take everything away from us, and they want us to be prisoners, and they want to make us a socialist country. They want to take everything away from us. And we've got to stand up as Americans and get the right people in office and stand behind the ones that are standing up for us now. I mean, it's just like, we've got veterans that fought for our country living on the street. We've got people that lost their jobs the minute that Biden went in office that now are homeless, with families, with kids that have worked their entire life to help make America great, and they're out on the streets. But yet we've got immigrants coming in surges, and they're pretending like it's not an emergency, like it's not a crisis. And they're handing them money and giving them checks. Why? And putting them up in $87 million, putting them up in hotels like it's a vacation, that are going to have swimming pools and everything. We're going to hand out some cash. Where our veterans that fought for our country, that gave them the right to sit and make the money they're making, and they're on streets begging for $1 to get a sandwich. Now you tell me, where is the justice in that? I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm going to speak my mind. And if I piss people off, I'm sorry. God forgive me. But I have the right. And I'm sorry. My dad fought in the war. My stepdad fought in the war. My uncle was in the military. My grandfather. You know, I'm sorry. My stepbrother put in many years in service. What for? To be spit on like that? No, it's not right. I'm sorry. When I walk through a store, if I see a soldier, I walk up to him and I thank him, and I thank if his wife's with him, I thank her because they sacrifice. If I see a police officer, I thank them for their service because they don't get enough appreciation. A firefighter. And this is how we're going to treat them. We're going to say that they're not worth anything. We're going to leave some of them on the street while we let millions of people come in and just give them motel rooms and hand them everything. Just because Biden wants a few more votes, the Democrats want a few more guaranteed votes. It's not right. And we as Americans need to stand up for our people. If you have anybody that fought in the war, if you know anybody that fought in the war, this is the time you stand up. This is the time you put the people in office that are going to fight for their rights. Don't do it for yourself. You don't have to be selfish for yourself. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for my kids, my grandchildren, because they're the ones that are going to pay the cost later on. I'm just saying, it's me. Like I said, everything I say when I do my videos, I'm real. I'm just saying, just being real. You don't have to like it. You can hate me. You can put nasty comments. I don't care. I'm still going to love you because I'm a Christian. I'm going to love you. But I'm real. So just being real. I love you. Think about it. Do your research. Don't take me at my word. Do your research. Look it up. Look it up. That's what I said. Look it up. Look it up on the mask. Look it up on Fashi. He's the one that started it. Look it up on what I'm saying about the border. What I said about racism. And what I said about love. Okay. Love y'all. Till next time. Just saying.